begin.
Green light. Red light.
Clear. Started push red.
Lewis check.
Turn the phone line.
This will be her only aborted takeoff. She'll be the world's longest airliner. And more important, that the main body is built upside down. It's rotated 180 degrees in a straight
50,
turn.
40, 30, 20, retard.
1 week later.
Okay, class. Good morning.
Hi, Mom.
Morning. I assume you already watched the video that I posted on our elements last week, right? As that tackles what will be our lesson for today. We will talk about the introduction to aviation with principles of flight. First question. Have you ever wondered how did aircrafts learn nga ba to fly like the birds? Well, this can be a long talk, but just for this time, we will take the shortcut, but I will make sure that you will understand. Did you try to spread your arms and wag it up and down just like how birds move their wings to fly? Aminin, lahat tayo nagganto. Well, for many centuries, humans have tried to fly just like the birds, but the results were often disastrous as the muscles of the human arms are not like a bird's wing and it doesn't have the strength of a bird. Now, we will include the people behind the success of today's aircrafts. We'll start in 1485. Leonardo da Vinci made the first real studies of flight with over 100 drawings that illustrated his theories in flight. One of his designs was his ornithopter flying machine that we can see on the screen, which is the basis concept of the modern helicopter. Then here comes the Montgolfier brothers, who were the inventors of the first ever hot air balloon. They used the smoke from a fire to blow hot air into a silk bag that was attached to a basket. The hot air balloon then rose and allowed it to be lighter than air. The picture at the side is one of the Montgolfier's balloons. Then 10 days later, Professor Jacques Charles flew the first ever gas balloon. Dito pa lang, makikita na natin na marami ang interested and may goal na magpalipad. This next person is called the father of aerial navigation. Well, do you have any idea who is it?
Mom, is it George Cayley po?
Okay, that's right. He is Sir George Cayley, who designed many gliders that uses the movement of the body to control, and he discovered the basic principles on which the modern science of aeronautics is founded and built. This is one of the many drawings of his glider. And later on, we will discuss these basic principles a little bit furthermore. Now, Otto Lilienthal studied aerodynamics and was the first person to design a glider that could fly a person and was able to fly long distances. His book was the basis of the Wright brothers for their design. Okay, so the brothers had experimented for 4 years with kites, their homemade wind tunnel, and different engines to power their biplane called the Flyer. The first heavier than air, which traveled 120 feet in 12 seconds, and that this was made with superior craftsmanship. For now, that will be all for the history of flight. We will take a 10-minute break muna, class, so loosen up.
Eventually.
Okay, we're back. Let's get right into the next topic. In order to understand the major operation and subcomponents of the aircraft, it is important to understand the basic aerodynamics. So, paano nga ba yung mga galaw ng aircraft kapag nasa air, and paano sila nakakatagal sa taas, di ba? 4 aerodynamic forces act upon an aircraft during flight, and these 4 forces are thrust, lift, weight, and drag. Thrust. This is the forward force produced by the power plant or propeller. Drag, which is the opposite direction of thrust, is the retarding force caused by the disruption of airflow by the wing, fuselage, and other protruding objects. Weight, which is the combined load of the airplane, and it pulls the aircraft downward due to the force of gravity. Last is lift, which opposes the weight and is produced by the dynamic effect of the air acting on the wing. For the next topic, I would like you to watch this video. Yeah, the next topic is about the 3 principal axes, so please watch carefully.
In flight, manipulation of the airplane's orientation about all 3 axes is performed via the primary flight controls, which only include the elevator, ailerons and spoilerons, and rudder. The elevator pitches the airplane's nose up and down about the lateral axis. The TBM's ailerons roll the TBM about the longitudinal axes. Meanwhile, integrated spoilerons augment roll control by spoiling lift on the descending wing and at the same time counteracting adverse yaw created by the lifting aileron. Yaw coordination about the vertical axes is maintained with the rudder. Adjusting the airplane's orientation with the wrong primary flight control leads to uncoordinated flight. The primary flight control for pitch is the elevator. The primary flight controls for TBM roll control are the ailerons and interconnected spoilerons. The most neglected primary flight control is the rudder, which either maintains or returns the aircraft to coordinated flight.
One shift later.
The next one will be all about the components of aircraft. First one is fuselage. It is the main section or body of the airplane. The fuselage is the foundation for the structure of the aircraft. This is where you'll find passengers, cargo, and the flight crew. Okay, wings. The wings of an aircraft serve the same purpose as the wings of a bird. A plane is capable of flight because its wings provide lift. And this includes ailerons and flaps that are used in pair to control the airplane's roll or bank, gaya ng nasa video na pinanood natin kanina. Empennage, which is also called the tail or tail assembly, kasi it is located sa likod ng airplane. The tail provides stability during flight. This is very similar to how feathers of an arrow provide stability. Landing gear is the undercarriage of an airplane. It is used for both takeoff and landing. The landing gear supports the plane when it is on the ground and allows the plane to take off, land, and taxi without any damage. Last is power plant, which usually includes both the engine and the propeller. The primary function of the engine is to provide the power to turn the propeller. Okay, class, this will be the end of today's discussion. The next meeting, we will talk about the fundamental physical laws governing the forces acting on a flight, so you can research about it na, and we will tackle it next week. Okay? Open cam na kayo, class, for the attendance now. Okay, Waki!